earlobe and rub my belly button. This is your announcer, Bram Stoker, and this is Radio Azteca, program number 38. This program is brought to you by the good folks at the World Heterodyne Institution and People in Trouble. Whip it! If you'd like one of our over 60 different attractive yet oddly disturbing QSL cards, then break into Lee Sylvie's house. No, don't do that. Just write down everything you hear and send it along with a description of all your sensitive places, 3 wise-ass comments we can use on the air, and a stamp or 2 for the drop operator to DVS Communications, Post Office Box 1, Belfast, New York, 14711. Radio Azteca. More fun than finding a baby Ruth floating in the swimming pool. Monique, our sultry mailwoman, once again caused a riot at the post office when she went down to pick up your mail. Seems she bent over to pick up a dime, and several old men, in view of this spectacle, went berserk. I'm happy to report that Monique is fine, but the surviving old men involved had to have their hands strapped to their sides. I love that Monique. Larry Russell says that he would have gotten more of us on tape, but was distracted by family QRL. Would that be the Kinky family across the street running around the yard naked?
Damn the thing we ever did, please.
Larry wants to know if listening to Radio Azteca on Friday is like having fish on Friday. Not really, Larry. Listening to Radio Azteca is more like having an angry gerbil running around in your pants looking for someplace warm to hide.
People have used animals for this purpose for centuries.
You knew that was coming. Larry is from Michigan, where it is illegal to chain an alligator to a fire hydrant. John Sablotic is becoming a first-class QSL whore and is working his way up the ranks with yet another QSL request.
He's not responsible for what he's doing.
John says that he's not keeping track of the QSLs he gets from Radio Azteca, but I can assure you that Monique keeps a very close eye on all the mail from you people named John. Something to do with her previous employment.
Good night, John.
Bruce Tincher wants to know if that was Dick Dale we use for bumper music. Bruce, who the hell is Dick Dale? We use just about everybody for bumpers, so you'll have to be more specific. And yes, you did hear El Rancho Grande by the Champs. Bruce, trying to be ever helpful, says that he thinks that Throckmorton P. Gildersleeve is responsible for Radio Gerbil. Personally, I think it's either Leroy or Mr. Peavy. You can never trust children or those inconspicuous types. All you under 50 people out there, bear with us while Bruce and I reminisce here.
You find a lot of things hanging around old folks, you know.
You know you're getting old if you have more hair in your nose than you do on your head. First-time reporter and recently retired John Wilkins of Buckwheat Ridge, Colorado, wants to know approximate location of our transmitter. John, it's approximately right where it's always been. Did you know that in Colorado it is illegal to shoot at a rabbit from a second-story window? We are forced to conclude that you must either go up one floor to fire at the rabbit, or if you remain in place, only to shoot at people with small yappy dogs on leashes. Better yet, can the gun and get a pair of binoculars. The babe across the street is washing her car again, and she's got a large bucket of sudsy water. We also heard from John McWilliams once again. We did not hear from Janet Reno, Chelsea Clinton, or George Zeller. This is Radio Azteca. More fun than watching your dog wipe his ass on your carpet.
Ese amor llega así de esta manera, no tiene la culpa. Caballo de la sabana, porque muy despreciado, por eso no te perdono llorar. Ese amor llega así de esta manera, no tiene la culpa. Amor de comprensa, amor del pasado. Ven, 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 ven,
Alas, once again, our lease has run out at the home office in Slip Up, Kentucky, which is just as well as many of you reported as if it is Plymouth, Kentucky. We have decided to pack up all the tuning oil, whiz bags, poopy pouches, sex toys, and gross retorts and relocate to the new home office here on North Brady Street in Davenport, Iowa. Rest assured that Monique, the sultry mail woman, and all the other regular weirdos have made the trip here to the new dig. Special thanks go to Monique for her services during the move. Without her, we'd all be nervous wrecks with tension headaches.
The best way to relieve the tension and the frustration would be a blowjob.
I hold in my formerly copper wire stained left hand tonight's top 10 list from the new home office in Davenport, Iowa. A child of 4 can plainly see that this list is in a hermetically sealed envelope. This list has been stored in a number 2 hotel size mayonnaise jar on Funkin' Rifle's Port 16 today. No one knows the contents of this envelope, but I, in my semi-practic yet mildly amusing way, will ascertain the contents after opening the envelope. Top 10 list is the top 10 new clandestine stations to listen for. The top 10 new clandestine stations. Here we go. Number 11, Voice of the Edmonton Toilers. Number 10, the mother of all bagels radio. Number 9, La Voz del Zap Your Testicles. Number 8, Radio Looking for a Peace International. Number 7, La Voz del Resistencia y Capacitencia. Number 6, Radio Vincent Amos. Number 5, Voice of the Islamic Republic of Irene. Number 4, Ecos del Hope Lang. Number 3, Radio Spin and Marquee. Number 2, La Voz del Sid Vicious. And the number 1 new clandestine station to listen for, Voice of the Broad Masses of Starving Spearchuckers. This is Rod Steele, Azteca. More fun than watching girls on trampolines. Guest editorial who will speak about the recent flurry of pirate internet flaming. Our famous guest will suggest what should be done with anyone who speaks ill of any pirate.
We're going to hold on to him by the nose, and we're going to kick him in the ass. We're going to kick the hell out of him all the time, and we're going to go through him like crap through a goose.
Thank you. This is Radio Azteca. More fun than scratching scabs. Scan waves and check the print electronic media for crap that you would ordinarily ignore. Fortunately, we don't have to do much of that, as some of you weird people are always sending that crap. All the following actual stuff. We are not making any of this up.
It will prove to you, I think, that if you're not looking for these things, you're very apt to miss them.
Thank you, Shep. Did you can rearrange the letters in George Zeller, Thistle, Geezer L. Butler, Easy Litter, Easy Egg Roller, Greg E. Roselle, Greaser LeLog, Real Auger, Roger Gazelle, and LeRose Legger. I see potential for this in the future. Ken Alexander sent in this novel and perverse entrepreneurial idea. Australian police have been unable to recommend prosecution for the following scam. A company takes out a newspaper ad claiming to be able to supply imported hardcore pornographic videos. As their prices seem reasonable, people place orders and make payments via check. After several weeks, the company writes back explaining that under present law, they are unable to supply the materials and do not wish to be prosecuted. So they return their customers' money in the form of a company check. However, due to the company's name, few people ever bother to present these to their banks. The name of the company? The Anal Sex and Fetish Perversion Company. That'd be a great name for a rock band, or possibly a pirate station. The ever-alert Larry Russell sent in this bit of feathery trivia. They may not be the first males in tuxedos to be solicited by prostitutes, but these males in tuxedos are penguins. A Cambridge University researcher has observed bird prostitution behavior in penguin colonies. Sexual favors are paid for with rocks and stones, a valuable resource in the penguin world. Of course, this is all much more convenient for a species that has its pecker on its face.
Are we getting too gross here?
Yep. Chuck Becky sends in this heartwarming and crotch-clutching story. Melbourne, Australia. Gun-toting granny Ava Estelle, 81, was so ticked off when two thugs raped her 18-year-old granddaughter that she tracked the unsuspecting ex-cons down and shot their testicles off.
I'll kill you for that right now!
I'll take that gun.
The old lady spent a week hunting for those bums down, and when she found them, she took revenge on them in her own special way, said admiring Melbourne police investigator Evan Delp. She then took a taxi to the nearest police station, laid the gun on the sergeant's desk, and told him, in as calm as she could be, those bastards will never rape anybody again, by God. Cops say convicted rapist and robber Davis Firth, 33, lost both his penis and his testicles when outraged Ava opened fire with a 9mm pistol in his seedy motel room where he and his former prison cellmate Stanley Thomas, 29, were holed up.
Yes, it's true. This man has been sick.
The wrinkled Avenger also blew Thomas's testicles to kingdom come, but doctors managed to save his mangled penis, police said. Thomas didn't lose his manhood, but the doctor I talked to said he won't be using it the same way he used to, Detective Delp told reporters.
Oh, I couldn't help it. The darn thing came off in my hand. What?
Attention, men. Ken Zicke found this article in the Family Practice News. What's that you're wearing? Forget musk, spices, and flower extracts. You're more likely to excite your mate with items found in a vending machine than in Chanel, says Dr. Alan R. Hirsch of the Smell and Taste Treatment and Research Foundation in Chicago. Dr. Hirsch and his colleagues measured vaginal blood flow response in 30 women as they sampled a variety of odors. Women had the greatest increase in arousal, 13%, after smelling a mixture of good and plenty, a licorice-like candy, and cucumber.
You know, there's something about the smell of urine. I love the smell of napalm in the morning. Smell like a fish?
I wonder how you measure vaginal blood flow. Brings to mind some interesting images involving a stethoscope. Here, Miss Locklear, let me breathe on that to warm it up. I guess I'm going to have to start eating licorice and wearing a cucumber in my pants. Equally arousing was baby powder, while a mixture of lavender and pumpkin pie ran a close second. I'm definitely not wearing a pumpkin pie in my pants.
You might get nervous and pull your pants.
Perfume and men's cologne had a negligible or even slightly negative effect on sexual arousal, and the smell of barbecued meat registered a minus 14% response from the women. Men, that just goes to prove that when you take out your meat, leave the barbecue sauce at home. Other research has shown that men's penile blood flow increases 32% after smelling a mixture of donuts and black licorice. All told, this could be a whole new marketing angle for the makers of Good and Funny, and they won't even have to change the name. And frankly, I don't want to know how they measured penile blood flow. Kim says that to definitively determine that these women are doing with licorice and cucumbers will require some extensive field work. Ken also wonders why the researchers fail to test the reactions to the smell of a sweaty crotch. Ken, do you wonder a lot about these things? Larry Russell of Flushing, Michigan also reports that WFDF in Flint aired a sleazy commercial for Smoker's Castle tobacco shop, where a guy talks about his cigar while his girlfriend in the background is moaning for a taste. The ad turns into a promo for a special event the store is sponsoring in one of the rooms at Flushing's trendy watering hole called the Speakeasy. The event is going to have 2 Playboy Playmates promoting Playboy cigars. Tickets are $145. You get dinner, a live band, and cigars. Larry adds, the end is truly near if Playboy Playmates are coming to Flushing. Can you picture them handing out the cigars? Here, suck on this. I'm sure that the White House is involved in this somehow, Larry. However, what I'm most amazed is that Flushing has a watering hole that can be called trendy. I think this needs checking out. A full report is expected, Larry. Charlotte, North Carolina, Associated Press. Flounder, the foul-mouthed parrot, has found a permanent home at the place best known for adoptions. The bird makes us laugh, and we don't get many laughs, so we're keeping him. Patty Lewis, founder and president of the Humane Society of Charlotte, said Monday. Lewis worried that if someone asked where the bird like that came from, the new owner would say, the Humane Society. The bird blurts out profanities at will. Flounder, named after a character in the movie Animal House, also makes a noise that sounds exactly like someone passing gas, and then says, excuse me. Obviously, this bird has not yet learned the trick of passing gas so that the dog can be blamed. I wonder if parrot flatulence is anywhere near as green as a good dog fart. Birmingham, England. A legal secretary from a well-known law office was having a birthday party. This time, the popular secretary was in for the embarrassment of her life when co-workers threw her a surprise birthday party. Before she got home, co-workers had let themselves into her house with a spare key given to a friend. Unfortunately, upon arriving, the secretary made a beeline straight for the kitchen. After a few minutes, she sauntered into the living room in search of her dog. Alas, while in the kitchen, she had stripped down completely and applied peanut butter to her private parts before searching for her pet. Now, that's what you call doggy style. If you have any actual stuff that would be suitable for airing, and there isn't much that isn't, then you're just about as sick as the rest of our contributors. This is Radio All Azteca, the station that smells like a sweaty crotch.
De esta manera no tiene la culpa. Caballo levanta la mano porque muy despreciado, por eso no te recuerdo llorar. llega así de esta manera, no tiene la culpa. Amor de complementan, amor del pasado. Ven, 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 ven,
And now, it's Radio Azteca story time. An English anthropologist was doing research in an isolated African village, and the tribal chief asked if he would like to attend a criminal trial his people were conducting that afternoon. "You'll be surprised," said the chief, "at how well we've copied your country's legal procedures. You see, we read accounts of many English trials in your newspapers and incorporated them into our judicial system." When the Brit arrived at the wooden-constructed courthouse, he was truly amazed to see how closely the African officials resembled those of England. The counsels were suitably attired in long black robes and the traditional white powdered wigs worn by all British jurists. Each argued his case with elegance and in proper judicial language, but he couldn't help but be puzzled by the occasional appearance of a bare-breasted native girl running through the crowd waving her arms frantically. After the trial, the anthropologist congratulated his host on what he had seen and then asked what was the purpose of having the semi-nude woman run through the courtroom during the trial. "I really don't know," confessed the chief, "but in all the accounts we've read in your papers about British trials, there is invariably mentioned something about a nervous titter running through the gallery." Radio Azteca. More fun than getting an enema from Dr. Kavorsky. This stuff is easy. Just give a listen. If you'd like your share of spam, hey, this is the station for everything that's gross but tasteful. How many gerbils does it take for a box of a dozen nuggets? What will happen if the demand for gerbil McNuggets causes that sort of sums this whole exercise up in a nutshell, Jerry. As Jerry reported us as Radio Azteca. That will go right there. That will go in. Jeez. Told them that this isn't. We told them that this is. Jesus. We told them that it is outside the ARU Code of Conduct. A WMLK newsletter a while back did research on Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day. It seems, did you know that in Colorado it is illegal to shoot a rabbit from a second-story window? The top 10 new clandestine stations here. Number 7, La Voz de Resistencia y Capacitencia. Australian police have been Australian police have been unable to recommend prosecution. This is Radio Azteca, more fun than a milking machine.
Desde que un sueño parecido no volverá más. Que me pintaba las manos y la cara de azul. Y de prisa del viento la vida me llevó. Y me hizo volar al ser el feliz.
The airwaves and our favorite body parts just long enough. But rest assured there is more abusing to be done. If you'd like a permanent commemoration of this yet-to-be adequately explained behavior, just send along the excruciatingly detailed reception report, your best nipple print, 3 wise-ass comments we can use on the air, and a stamp or 2 for the drop operator. To DZS Communications, Post Office Box 1, Belfast, New York, 14711. Tonight's closing wisdom is, never stick your arm up anything when you're in Amish country. This has been Radio Azteca, program number 38.
Good night, folks.
Good evening, friends of the inner sanctum.
So long till next time.
It's late, Pete, so good night. Sleep tight.
That's the show's over.
That's it for now. We'll be back soon.
Good night, folks. Good night, everybody.
Thanks for being with us today.
Where's my gun? Ah, there it is. Well, it's a hell of a way to sign off, but goodbye, cruel world.
Good night, John. That goes for me, too. Goodbye, everyone.
Bro, ever since you knew this money was coming, you've changed. You ain't the same person you used to be. And how I changed. Tell me how I changed. You want to know what changed? I walk with a limp for the rest of my life. After that accident, that's what changed me. When you walk, do you limp? How would you like if that happened to you? You saying I changed because I called Top Dog. You saying I changed because I got a big-ass check coming. That's what that's about. That's about the money. I would trade places with you any day. I still call Top Dog, though. When you call Top Dog, it's always about the money. I don't care if you get hurt at work, car accident, medical malpractice. Always about the money. Follow him on Instagram at Top Dog Law. Any accident, it's TopDogLaw.com.
It's commode hugging time in the valley.
Listening to this program may be hazardous or detrimental to your standing as a serious DXer. Any reproduction, rebroadcast, or charge for admission for this program is strictly forbidden without the written permission of a woman with bodacious hooters. If you do charge for admission to listen to this program and get any takers, please send me a list of their names.
The demand is huge, you people.
You have the highly questionable pleasure of tuning into Radio Azteca, program number 39. This is your humble host, Bram Stoker. If you feel you must have some permanent commemoration of this highly suspicious event, just send your excruciatingly detailed reception report, a picture of you and your favorite pet doing something weird, 3 wise-ass comments we can use on the air, and a stamp or 2 for the drop operator, to DVS Communications, Post Office Box 1, Belfast, New York, 14711. Rest assured that if you don't comply with our high standards, we have rejection cards. And if you send us a report obviously intended to garner a rejection card, we also have rejection cards. If you're writing from Pakistan or Winona, Minnesota,